Here we're going to talk about my Fortec 2.0 Traxxas car that I have the Corvette body. My Corvette body is right here on my electric e-bike right here. So I'm a full electric guy, but I'm also a nitro guy and a gas guy. I got a gasoline motorcycle, obviously gasoline cars. I've always been, for like the last 16 years, running these RC cars with Lipo batteries. You know, I was back doing this in the late 70s, early 80s when we just had the NiCad batteries, and those were the latest and greatest. And man, those are really bummer times compared to now. So much better having these Lipo, and the brushless motor. All we had was brushed motors for like, you know, the first 12 years I started doing this, or maybe the first 15 years, or maybe 20 years, I don't know. But definitely Lipo batteries and going with a brushless motor is a game changer compared to what I started using. But here's my Corvette body. It's a little bit cheaper Corvette body. This was about $75. They have about $120 body. Definitely cooler. It's got a motor under here that you can see through. It's actually got, instead of decals, it actually has molded parts in the body. But this is what I wanted to buy. This was $299. This was $75. So I was approaching $400 pretty quickly, and I did not really want to go over that. With that mentioned, let me set this body down. With that mentioned, I feel that it's important to be able to go in and buy a product and not have to upgrade it if you don't want to. I mean, there's just people that want to buy it, have fun with it, and not have to go in and spend $100, $200, $300, $400, $500 more to make it run like it should. And Traxxas is, you know, kind of iffy in that area. So with this Traxxas Fortec 2.0, it says on the box that it runs up to 75 miles an hour. So you see that, you're like, ooh, yeah, I want a 70 mile per hour, 75 mile per hour little RC car. Yes, said that correctly. I thought I stuttered the first time. But, you know, it seems really fun having something that goes really, really fast. But to find out, you can run this with a 2S battery out of the box because of the battery holder. And Traxxas, I made a video, you know, a couple weeks ago highlighting what I was doing here. And I said I would never go 3S, but obviously, you know, I want to go 3S. I always want to do later what I say I didn't want to do. But Traxxas has this really neat little battery holder designed in the vehicle, and it comes from the factory, and you just pull this out and this pops up. And then you also have two different heights that you can, by flipping this around, but that still only allows you to run a nickel metal hydride battery, say that correctly, or a 2S LiPo in there. So you're stuck with that. But to run 3S LiPo like I have in here right now, that's a Power Hobby 6000 milliamp 120C battery. This is a 110C battery and 5400 milliamps. And it fits in here really well, but I had to modify this battery holder. If you want to go back and watch my last video, I touched more on that, but I'll show you some photos while I'm sitting here talking. This fit in there. You take this out, and from hot racing, I bought these little metal pieces that go, metal aluminum little pieces that replace the factory battery hold down, and one mounts right here, and this is in my last video, and one mounts right here. And then you can incorporate a strap that they send you, even though the strap is too short, and you have to use this buckle in the back to kind of cinch it up in the rear, which I don't like, but it works. You know, I don't have another longer strap. Let me get this out of the way. And so you have a Velcro strap that holds that battery in. And I highly recommend, you know, I've seen when I went to go find YouTube, because I didn't know what to put in there to make it hold a 3S battery. I went and looked, and a lot of people were just putting their battery in there, putting the body on and running it and hoping for the best. I don't recommend that, because if you crash or you flip the car, your battery's going to likely come out and hit the concrete, bounce, spin, roll, slide, hit a curb, go under a car. Maybe a car runs over it, and you have damaged your Lipo battery, which is very expensive. And and it can cause damage. Or if it doesn't cause a fire right then, you can bring it home and charge it and not be paying attention, and because you damaged it slightly and didn't notice it, you can start a fire in your house. These are very, very dangerous things if they are compromised. But the hard pack, like I have the hard pack 2S batteries and this hard pack 3S batteries, take a little bit more abuse, but I just don't recommend giving them abuse. Just strap them in. And so this hot racing was about $35 with tax and maybe shipping, maybe closer to 40. It's something I had to do. And I mean, I didn't want to spend this money. Like I said, I just buy something and I want to use it. And I don't want to necessarily have to go in and spend a few $100s more to make it do what I thought it would do out of the box. But it is what it is, and I enjoy RC, and you know, spending a little bit of money and getting parts in the mail and putting things on with, you know, is fun, and it is fun for everyone. But you know, it shouldn't be something that you have to do. But so I've got my 3S battery in here now, and with the hot racing hold down strap, and I will link to that where you can get that, or you can just search it online. And because I've got a new larger battery in there, I'm going to have to control the heat, the excessive heat that's going to be sent to my motor and my ESC. So let me just break this down really quickly. I said I never wanted to do the fan and the fan or two fans on the motor. So I kind of bypassed that. To get this battery, I needed to spend like $10 more and to avoid shipping, and so shipping was like $7.95. So it was a no-brainer. I went and looked at their fan at Hobby, at Power Hobby, and they had a really cool fan. It's going to be hard to see. It's under the wires right here, but it is aluminum and it mounts to the heat sink. There's videos on how this mounts, so I'm not going to remake a video on some of the videos that are out there. It's just no need. They did a fairly good job, because if you look at this online, you're going to be like, how the heck does that mount on the car? That looks like that doesn't even work with the Traxxas Fortec 2.0, you know, little ESC, but it does. And they mount onto the little small heat sink that's already on there, and then a little fan mounts on there on top of that, and then when you plug it in, that fan starts spinning up, and it takes a couple of minutes. Man, it really just builds up over time and starts really cooking and blowing out some air over that fan. So that's going to help me to dissipate the heat that's going to be generated extra to the ESC. And I added in a past video the heat sink to the motor, and then I even went a step further and used this thermal paste right here and put that on the bottom of the heat sink and the motor, and then pushed on the heat sink to the motor right here, and then it made this literally probably like a solid piece instead of two pieces. And so that heat sink is going to work more efficiently. It's going to work better. And so these are the things that I've done in preparation to run this 3S battery. Is the ESC fan that was like $14, and the heat sink, which was like $10, and then the putty, or the creamish type material that I put on the thermal paste, spit that out, blah blah blah, thermal paste, was like $8. And so I've invested that money back into the RC, plus the $35 for the straps. Also too, I put the front and rear sway bars in there. That was like another $20. That it should have come with sway bars in the rear and in the front. What else have I done to this thing to make it a little bit better? I've added my XT70 or XT90. I think this was XT showing an XT90, but I bought XT70s like a year ago, and they made up just perfectly. So I don't know what the difference is with those. But so I added those, soldered those on. So this is my vehicle, and it's going to go about 30 miles an hour faster than it did with 2S battery, and that's pretty exciting. So I'm going to do that next, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Maybe not go, you know, as fast, because I don't go just run this thing straight line and get my jollies out of that, you know, going 70 miles an hour or trying to go 100 miles an hour. I like to put it around corners and go around a course, a road course, and maybe someday run with some other cars and have some fun and some competition like that. But this is it, man. It's a heavy little paperweight for sure, which is going to make it more stable, but it takes more power to push it. But I think it's a good trade-off, a win-win. A little bit heavier car, not as easy to flip, and I try to run this on very smooth ground with very smooth joints and not a lot of rocks, so it performs very well. And then also added these rear, what you want to call them, turnbuckles. Traxxas makes like 3 different versions of these of different lengths. They don't come with the factory car. These are missing, and so you get a lot more, if you can see that, how much wobble is in that wheel. Not as much as that one, does not have as much, but this one has a lot of flex and a lot of wobble. Man, that's excessive. Also in the front, there's a lot of, and that's just part of the Traxxas plastic parts. But if you crash it, you're not going to bend and break stuff. It's going to bend, but it's going to snap back, and that's one of the qualities of a Traxxas that some people like. It's a little bit more durable, and you know, it's just a trade-off. More performance. You know, you can buy aluminum parts, aluminum suspension components. You can go in and buy stiffer plastic, all suspension parts, and firm everything up. And what that does is it'll make it turn better, it'll make it drive better, it'll make it more precise. So it just depends on what you want to do. But I'm going to have a blast running it. It's definitely probably going to go, you know, up to about 60 miles an hour. I don't really need to go faster than that. But also too, I added, just to touch base with you, if you're watching my video and you're thinking about getting one of these and you don't want to watch a 3, 4, 5, 6 year old video, you want to see something new, I bought the Traxxas Bluetooth component that plugs right in, or fits right into the receiver here. I got it right here. I just have it saved. TQI Top Qualifier Traxxas Link wireless module. And excuse my cat, my adopted cat that has not been with me too long, but this is a cool cat, and he's grown about twice the size when I found him outside and when it was 105 degrees. So he's loving it inside and love being with me because I'm giving him a lot of food and a lot of attention. But Bluetooth module, this allows you to adjust a whole lot of parameters, steering, you know, obviously the direction of the steering, you can reverse or servo. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but it'll allow you to put more steering in or less steering in. It'll allow you to get the vehicle going in a straight line. If you turn your radio on and your wheels go boop and pop over to the left, and you give it gas and your car takes off to the left, you can go in and correct that really easily. And you can adjust your throttle. You can tone that down a little bit so that you're not burning rubber right off the start and smoking your tires. You can easily kind of accelerate into that. Even though you're giving it full throttle, you can adjust how much brake you're putting into it, how strong the brake is. That's very, very, very important. There's about 6 or 7 things that you can adjust that it's nearly impossible to figure out, and they don't even include in the instructions how to do these stupid buttons on top to adjust that. It's very, very difficult to tune just a few of those parameters. So this is worthless. You gotta buy the Traxxas Link Bluetooth module, and I think that was like $35. More money you have to spend. A lot of controllers like this one here, Team Associated, has 6 or 7 different settings right here on the top of the radio where you can adjust some of those things so that you don't need a Bluetooth module and spend another $35. You know, that's just a lot. I mean, probably 99% of the RC cars that are out there have a lot more dials on your radio to control some of that stuff, and you don't need to spend that money. But we're going to stop the video here, and I'm going to go drive it in the next couple of days. I got a lot of things going on, which is good because more content to make, but more money that I'm having to spend. But again, I'm getting to take advantage of those things and enjoy them. My electric e-bike right here that I love a whole lot. Just spent some money on a new battery, and it's really fast now. Oh man, so fast, and a new suspension and everything. I really love my Suron, and so I spent a little bit more money. I just like things like this, and bought this electric car. And we're going to run this on the street and see how much fun I have. Here's the Traxxas 4Tech. I'm getting ready to run it. You can see my holes cut in the front windshield and in the back portion to allow the air in, which is really going to help with cooling. And I've got my draggy strapped on with some tape. All right, connecting the little draggy GPS device to my phone and then to the satellites, strapped onto the back of the car so that it doesn't fly off and go skidding across the concrete like everything else I've owned. Here was the top speed I was able to achieve during these runs. 46 miles an hour outlined there in the red. This was on the stock gearing, and this is my new 3S Lipo battery, 5400 milliamp and 100C rating, pack from Power Hobby. Thought the tire came unglued. Doing some weird bouncing when I hit the brakes. Let's go ahead and measure the temperature of the ESC in the motor. That's about a couple more, and run it straight over to the car and get a temperature. Run it a couple more times, make sure it didn't cool down too much. Fans can break, fans can get stones in there, and fans are very temperamental. So if you're relying on a fan, it's easy for a fan to break, and you run your car and get over 180, 190, 200 degrees. You burn up your motor, damage the magnets, and then you maybe damage your ESC. It's just a good thing, I think, to cut holes in the front windshield, a hole or ventilation somehow in your body to allow airflow.